Warning. The B3F podcast may contain language or subject matter that may not be suitable for kids. You've been fucking warned. Check out some friends of the show. The Two Brothers Podcast. The Trevor Jackson Podcast. Dem Jackson Boys. The Dumbass Dudes Podcast. Pop Culture Warrior. Happened in the 90s Podcast. Follow at The Andy Harris on Twitter. Go to our website at b3fpodcast.com for merch. Click on Tell Us What You Really Think to leave a completely anonymous review of each of us.
Oh,
Yeah, just some sick fuckers and I like that.
Enjoy the show, you cunts.
hey, all right.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
I'm actually not miserable today,
I know it's because it's 3 o'clock.
and it's
3 o'clock.
and it's a holy weekend, and you know how much I value.
It is a holy weekend.
I value
HOLI, holy. Yeah,
with the PH.
so sure.
Of course.
Yeah, a holy weekend. Yeah.
So anyway,
I feel so. Oh, you got that turned up. That's why.
yeah, we got it turned up.
Gotcha. All right.
So
We have a guest tonight.
we do.
Are you gonna go over what we're drinking, or are you gonna pour?
Yeah,
and wait?
first, I'm gonna go what we're drinking.
All right, go for
and
it.
then So because we have a French person on the show today, I have really cheap French wine.
Yep.
Because we're cheap, but we're not French.
Yep.
So
You know, I know a little bit of French. A little bit of French.
A little bit of French.
Yeah, I took French 1 or 2 years in high school.
Nice.
And
I was
Austin Powers was popular at the time.
Yeah.
And so I made sure I learned, if I'm remembering it correctly, it was Je suis en balance, baby. Which, if you know anything about Austin Powers, you can figure out what I just said.
But
So we'll see if I said it right in just a moment.
dude, I poured that like a bitch. I spilled stuff everywhere.
Yeah, you did.
But anyway, so without further ado,
Party foul, bro.
Party Pal Bro, we'll bring on our guest. She is an author. I wrote something else on the thing in French.
You wrote horror fan,
Horror,
author,
yeah, horror fan.
and French person.
And French person, yeah.
Stephanie, am I pronouncing that? You got a little thing over the E. How is it pronounced?
Stephanie.
Okay.
Stephanie?
That's the way.
All right.
Perfect.
Just making sure we weren't missing, an inflection that we weren't aware of.
No, it's okay.
So-
It's okay.
Yeah. So in the French that I said, what did I actually say if it's translated?
I actually didn't understand. It.
Yeah, that's kind
It
of what I
was-
figured. That's kind of what I figured. Yeah. Do what?
It was from Austin Powers, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it was from Austin Powers. Yes. Yeah.
I was gonna bring a baguette tnight too.
Were you?
But I didn't have time.
A baguette. Well,
That's very French. Thank
Yeah.
you for the wine. I appreciate.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Ouais.
Oh, these are real glass. I thought they were plastic.
No, these are real.
Fun fact: I have whiskey.
Oh man, now I regret all of my decisions leading up to this.
We could have done whiskey too. What kind of whiskey have you got there?
From Kentucky.
From
I don't know the
Kentucky.
brand. It's important. I don't know the brand.
So drinking bourbon.
Bourbon.
Now I'm extra sad.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had wine in forever, but
Sure.
actually the most drunk I've ever been while driving was after a couple bottles of wine with a friend of mine in Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
So much. I think we cleared like 4 bottles over the course of a few hours. That was back when I was an alcoholic. More than I am now.
Did you say what this is called?
No.
Okay. I want to
I
read
know
it,
that.
but I'm going to butcher the shit out of it. Beaujolais Village.
Oh, Beaujolais. Yeah, good.
All right.
You'll be drunk
What-
like in no time.
Now, I'm gonna read it like the people that I had French class with. Beaujolais villages, Appellation. I know Appellation. Appellation d'origine contrôlée.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I want.
we're from close to Kentucky. Like
Yeah.
our state touches
Not,
Kentucky.
not
so
far away. No.
Yeah. That was,
Oh man.
you know, the first thing I actually learned when I arrived in the United States the first time: do not drink wine. We
Is it
tried it.
trash?
No, because we tried red wine and we got it fresh. And you don't drink red wine fresh. So we understood that we stick to beer and it's okay.
Okay.
Where were you at in the U.S.?
First time in Boston, New York, Washington, Philly, and the second time we actually made a road trip from the White Mountain back to New York, all the way down to New York.
Okay. Awesome.
So we visited Maine. Yeah, it was awesome. We had a nice time. We celebrated the 4th of July in the White Mountain, which was really
Hell
cool.
yeah.
We learned what it was to celebrate.
Yeah. Does anywhere else in the world celebrate their Independence Day like the U.S. does?
I don't.
Or at all? I mean,
No.
I guess really doesn't no one. There's no French Independence Day or anything like that.
No, we have we have La Prise de la Bastille that we celebrate every year, but it's not the same. You guys know how to celebrate independence. It's
Y'all don't blow shit up like we do. Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah. It's a strange thing because my daughter has a redneck streak in her, and she fucking loves the 4th of July.
Really?
I'm talking like American flag bathing suit, like put me out on the river with a beer. Like she fucking has a redneck streak in her.
Funny.
Like it's so funny. So anyway, so tell us a little bit about. I mean, you wrote.
It's 2 now. 2 books.
Yes, 2 books now, and I completely had it. I had it written down on another notebook. Looking for Sally. Is that what it was? Because I always want to say searching for Sally. Yeah, looking for Sally.
Yeah. No, looking for Sally.
Okay, looking for Sally. So, how did what inspired that? How did that come about? Like, because that's an interesting book.
Yes, the first book actually was something I did just as a fan of Stephen King, as a fan of Iron Maiden. You can see it because it's here.
Nice.
As a fan of Forge and Fire, and I put everything I loved in this book just to have fun. It was my first really horror book. So I wanted basically to put everything that made me a horror fan in that. And for the second one, it's a very different thing. But the first one was really a fun book.
Gotcha.
And that was the first.
So
that was the first book.
Stephen King references.
Right.
Lots of murder.
Yeah. So was that first book
I
first book you ever wrote?
Couldn't hear the last sentence.
Okay, I'm so saying, is that first book?
Yeah.
Sally, was that the first book you ever wrote, or the first horror book you wrote?
Oh no, it's not the first book I wrote. I've been writing for since forever and publishing for 10 years, but it's the first horror book. Okay. Before that, I made a lot of different things, kind of fantastic horror mixed together with supernatural things, but that's the first pure horror thing I write.
Okay. I used to write a lot of erotic fiction. No.
So
it was about me and
yeah, is that what it was? Yeah. Now we just do 2-man shows every week.
That's a whole different thing. But...
So Do you enjoy the supernatural?
I don't write this kind of things.
Yeah, you should.
Um, well, it works. It sells. I know. Honestly, now that I started writing horror, I don't think I can ever come back to what I was writing before that, because it's so much fun. You put everything in that. You can say everything, kill everyone. It's really something fun. I love it.
So, what is it you like? Let me start that sentence over.
She likes murder.
No. I was so what's the favorite murder you've written in one of your books?
My favorite murder, without spoilers, it's hard to tell, but actually not an idea of mine, but that idea came from Jay, and it was at the very end of Looking for Sally 2.
Okay.
And if you read, you will understand. And it's actually something really funny, because when you write a book on your own, you don't have this kind of, oh, that's really nice. You don't have the surprise element. And this time, because it wasn't my ideas only, I had this wow factor, that you can get sometimes when you read a book. And that was amazing. I just love that part at the very end. It's twisted. It's really, it's vicious. I love that kill. I cannot tell so much about it.
Sure.
But if you will read it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, Joey doesn't read, so I barely know how to read.
Oh, well, we made an audiobook out of that.
Yeah. All right. That'll work.
I want pictures. I want a comic. I want a comic book.
Pop up.
Yeah.
So where I know you said you put kind of all of your influences, Stephen King and Forest and Fire and things like that, all into this book. But where did that original idea for Looking for Sally come from?
From a dream, actually. Like a lot of original ideas. I have awful nightmares. Always, all the time. And it was, I remember exactly when it was during the first lockdown, and I had those very weird dreams 2 nights in a row. And I saw actually the opening scene, the very beginning of the story. And the night after that, I got that very weird dream about an execution. And I thought, I can make a book of that. So I started writing the plots, and I realized that it was actually good. And that's the beginning of Looking for Sally. I think even the title came in a dream, which is weird. That's why I kept it. I kept the name.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, though, the French probably have the longest history of consistent public executions in most of the industrialized world. So that's pretty fucking.
I think
cool.
We should bring it back.
Yeah, I think they did ban the guillotine since like the 50s or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think the government can make up a lot of money if they would do public executions as pay-per-view.
As pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's pay-per-view. For sure. Look at all the money we can make. It's tons and tons of money.
Yeah, I just think it's against the constitution now. But you're right, we kept that until very late in our history.
Wait a minute. So you guys can just change your constitution at any time? Because we fucking can't do that shit over here.
We do.
No.
We
amend it.
We can do it.
We amend
it. We could actually do it, but it's very complicated. Yeah. Let's say it wouldn't be easy to change it. Some people would like to change it, but
yeah, some people here would like to change it back.
I will say though, I was thinking about it while you were talking about that stuff, or while we were talking about that, and historically that I know of, I'm no historian, but I feel like that France, as far as what's been in media over the years and throughout different conflicts, they have never really been known for their racism. A lot of countries are, but I can't think of like a reference to France being like, yeah, those are racist sons of bitches.
No.
Like England, fuck yeah, they're racist as shit. You know, America,
sure.
fuck yeah, they're racist as shit.
Yeah.
I don't think about you know. French being that-
The only thing remotely like that I've ever heard is that French people just don't like people from other countries. It doesn't matter what color you are; they just don't like people foreign.
No, you may talk about people from Paris, which is
Yeah.
very different
Okay.
from the rest of the country. Yeah,
Well,
people from Paris are known for that.
Yeah, well, I will say I wasn't there long, but the couple times I've been there, I felt like that if you were at least making an attempt to speak the language, like trying not to be just a loud asshole American, it went a long way as far as not getting treated like a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, French people do appreciate that, but we also know that French is probably the most terrible language to learn. So I can understand. Well, you talk about racism. It does exist in French society. Just maybe we don't talk about it the way you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not as visible as it is in America, but it exists, unfortunately, as everywhere else.
Well, as long as you have like racial differences coinciding,
Sure.
it's going to exist. Like, there's no way people. I don't understand this whole thing. Like, oh, we have to eradicate racism. It's like it's never going to fucking happen.
No.
Like, it's never going to happen. It's like classism will never not happen. Like, it's the whole thing. Like, as long as there are people that are different than other people, some people have a problem with that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true. I agree.
Yeah, but
it's
we
Go
have
ahead.
people coming from everywhere. Yes, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine.
We have people coming from everywhere. You know, myself, I'm a granddaughter of an Italian Mason, and we have a lot of people from North Africa. So we have this, let's say, it's a mix. We are used to live together, and maybe that makes a little difference. We had a lot of people coming from all kind of countries through time and history, and I think it's part of French society. You know, it's a mosaic. Can I say that?
Yeah, sure.
So we're used to that. Maybe that makes a difference.
Well, my theory is that basically Italy and France, they were all the same people at one point in time, and then some people were like, "Hey, we don't want to be dicks," and they became the Italians, and the French people were like, "No, fuck everybody, we're goddamn good," and then they stayed in their own pocket, and that's basically how it came to be.
I don't know, because every Italian person I've ever met is just fucking loud as shit.
Yeah.
So
well, they're the Americans of Europe.
Is that what it is?
them and Greeks.
Yes, they do have this reputation.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing. Yeah. I figured the people who went to Italy were more along the lines of going, look, we'd like our garlic bread to not be hard as a rock, so let's just do that. No, I think one of the biggest things about the difference between the U.S. and a lot of other places is because the country was founded on people going, well, fuck you, we'll just take it. Like, I mean, in lots of countries were, but like, I think we're just the most recent version of someone coming in going, hey, how about you try some of this? We'll try some of that, and now move the fuck out of the way, and we'll take over, and we'll bring these other people in, have them do some of the work for us, and that's just kind of the way the country went. I don't, slavery's existed everywhere, and takeovers have existed throughout history, but I guess we're just the newest one, and so now everybody's trying to get us in line. I don't know, but as far as the talk of race is so prevalent here, but I don't mind the talk of race. I get tired of hearing we need to have an honest conversation, because no one has an honest conversation about it.
I prefer dishonest conversations myself.
Oh, but by the way, you know that Louisiana does belong to France, right?
Yes.
Can we get please Louisiana back?
If you want it, if you want it, fuck yeah, you can have
those Cajuns. Well, yeah. Yeah, I've never lost anything in New Orleans.
The funny thing we always talk about is how actually France. I never been to New Orleans. What I was saying is, you know how we got France, right? The United States and France. The actual only reason why we got France is because we helped you kicking out the British.
That's true.
Speaking of British is kind of a favorite game. So that's the only reason why we helped you. So I want that very clear. I'm kidding, but it's kind of the reason why, yes.
Well, I just feel like as much shit as anybody might talk, we owe them for not living a life of fucking fish and chips.
That's
Goddamn
true.
British food is the worst fucking food on the planet.
I love fish and chips, man. I really do.
Because you're a boring ass motherfucker.
Boring. You sit in a hotel room and watch your Roku, and you don't even watch it like normal people. You put fucking headphones on and watch it. And who's fucking boring now? I'm at least going out and trying some shit. But goddamn if I don't love some fish and chips. This is the only reason I'm going to take Andre up on his invitation to come over there so I can get some fish and chips.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was a fisher of men.
That's a confession.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm not waiting till the end of the month. This is my last episode. Fucking I quit.
No, that's fine. So to go back to, you said you have lots of you say you have lots of nightmares. To sleep paralysis, night terrors. I mean, you ever get so deep into nightmares where you're actually having the sleep paralysis or night terrors?
Actually, nightmares don't scare me, but they can scare the one who's with me, because I talk and I actually say very scary things when I have those nightmares. So I don't realize. It's a freaking nightmare. It's not very nice to live, but I think the most scariest thing is for the one who's with me. That's why my husband sleeps with the light on.
That's one thing. Like, I've always been worried that I talk in my sleep, and I don't, thank God. But
what do you have to worry about? Just
whatever shit's going through my head. I really don't dream. I sleep in inky blackness most night. I rarely dream. But to me, like, that's always been, because you can't control what you dream, right?
No, they say it's part of your subconscious or something you've thought about during the day. Yeah,
or just through your life or whatever. But my thing has always been like, well, what if, like, I'm laying in bed and there's like some shit that happened fucking, in my 20s just comes out in my brain, and I'm just like talking.
Uncle Tim, no.
Right. I don't want to go in the van. But I don't know. It's just a very weird thing. I don't know. Different points in my life, it's just a sleep talking. But my grandmother had really bad night terrors.
Yeah.
Like, you'd hear, like, it'd be, whatever, because she worked night shifts. So during the day, it'd be 3 p.m. And all of a sudden you'd hear, and shit like that. It would be like, oh, God damn, Granny's dying.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
I used to have sleep paralysis, but after I quit watching Nightmare on Elm Street, honest to God, I've not had it again since then. It's so strange, because the last time I had a sleep paralysis, it was Freddy Krueger's voice in my ear. Like, honestly, which is interesting because, the man in the hat is a common theme between everyone that has sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
that's very curious. I also thought that it's very strange that everyone having sleep paralysis actually describe it the same way.
Yeah.
Isn't that really funny?
Yeah,
it can scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Really?
Like, both my oldest son.
That was her first cuss word of the show.
It is.
I'm very thankful for that.
My oldest son and my daughter both in times past had dealt with sleep paralysis, and it's very much the same way. And so, some people would say, well, could have inherited. Well, he didn't inherit it from me, but I didn't start having sleep paralysis, at least not that I can recall, until I was well into my adulthood, probably well into my 30s. But and what I eat. So anyway,
that's really scary. People tell you, okay, sleep paralysis, okay, but it's still scary when it happens to you.
Yeah, because you think you're awake and can't move, and maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I don't know, but I know I've woken up yelling out for my wife, and she's in a completely other room, but it's like I'm yelling out, but I'm yelling out like I'm being choked, so you can barely hear. It's a strange thing. But you've dealt with some shit like that before. But you think it was legitimately a ghost or something, right?
No, it was legitimately weird. It wasn't like normal. I've had sleep paralysis, but that was different than
Sure, but what about the
experience.
instance at your ex-wife's house where you felt like you were being held down?
Yeah, that
Is
was
what
the
you're talking
thing.
about?
Yeah, and I'm not saying it was a ghost or not, but I mean it was something that wasn't normal sleep paralysis. It was fucking weird. But
Interesting.
yeah, whatever.
Oh, you lived with things. You believe in that? I do kind of. I do.
Some element of it. Yeah, I've experienced enough shit in even in my adult life that I can't just chalk up to being like mental shit. I'm not saying there's not a good explanation. There's just not been one that I can come up with. Right. And so
Yeah.
in regards, like I think there is some supernatural shit. Maybe it's something that science hasn't caught up to being able to explain yet. But yeah, I think that shit exists. It only makes sense to me that there's, you know, things that are beyond our measurement or understanding. And I'm not saying that
we
I'm
cannot
not
explain.
saying it's ghosts,
Angels and demons.
angels and demons.
Could be
Just
could be the Greys.
It's
yeah.
it's Holy Weekend. Yeah, I always had this let's say questions about life after death, and that's why I write this kind of things about supernatural thing. I live things myself. I had questions about it. That's I love the subject. That's why.
Do you like outside of, I want to get back into actually that specific statement, but in general, do you like horror? Like, are you a horror fan of the genre itself, movies and all that stuff? And if you are, what's your favorite?
I became a fan of horror movies very late because I'm a reader. I wasn't so much a fan of films and movies, but I became a fan of horror movie. My favorite one. It's hard to say. I love the Friday the 13th franchise. It's hard to say for me. It's hard to pronounce for me. I'm kind of fan of this franchise. I love obviously Halloween because of Michael Myers is such a good bad guy, and Nightmares on Elm Street, the classic ones. But my very first movie, really the one first horror movie I loved, don't close that, was Shocker. You remember Shocker?
I don't think I've ever seen it, but I definitely know the title. Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, it stayed between us because it's a very funny horror movie to watch, and I talk about it in every single book I write because it really, I don't know, it shocked me. I loved it. I find it funny, and there is actually a reference to that in Looking for Sally because of the execution thing.
Interesting.
That was the first one. Yeah. But actually, the very first I saw was Jaws when I was a kid.
Okay.
That's a freaking horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I've always been more of a fan, like as far as lack of a better word, but the scariest to me are all the like the supernatural horrors. I like those better than, like, I enjoy the slasher films, but they're not remotely scary to me. But it's more of the supernatural stuff. And my daughter just fucking loves the Conjuring movies. Like, those are the ones I've introduced her to. And we have she hasn't watched the third Conjuring or La Llorona yet, and that's this weekend. We're gonna watch those.
Okay.
Probably on Easter.
I understand it's scarier when you cannot really, well, the evil is not human. It's something you cannot control. You don't have any kind of control on it. It's
right.
It's very scary. It's very, very
scary. And I think that comes from too. Yeah, you can't control, but also when you're growing up, you say, well, like, ghosts can't hurt you. You know, just you have
never
light.
Heard that growing
right.
up.
But I'm just saying. But the thought, and I'm not talking about like demons and angels, but I'm just talking about ghosts. But then something that's supposed to be that you can, it's bumps in the night, but then that shit fucking attacks you, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. It's like, yeah, that's fucking
sure.
That's way more nerve wracking to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. There's always this kind of element, supernatural, ghosts or demons in my books, always.
Yeah. It always reminds me of the Walk Hard, where he's like, you ever tried to jerk off with ghost hands?
Have you ever had any supernatural experiences of your own?
Yeah, actually several times. Foresight dreams. These kind of things happen to me a lot, but never about funny things. It's always about death from my grandmother, my dad, these kind of things. So I much prefer to, not to have this kind of supernatural things.
Sure.
But it happened really early when I was a kid, and I understood that it was real when I saw the death of my grandmother, and I came back home, and my parents were home, and we were not expecting that to happen anyone soon. And I understood that actually it was real, and then started and I had a lot of dreams like that.
Yeah.
Even late in my life.
Yeah, it's funny though when you're little and that happens, you don't even question it, right? It's just it is what it is,
Exactly.
and you believe it 100%.
Right.
And when you're an adult, it can shake you a little bit, but you're like, nah, and you just kind of brush it off as whatever, even though in the back of your mind is like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, right. When you're a kid, you don't question that. It's a reality.
I listened to I shouldn't say I listened to. So I've gotten where I'm a pretty big fan of Dan Cummins. He does the Time Suck podcast, and I've never really watched any of his stand-up, but he had this bit. He's talking about that it's still funny that when your kids are scared of the dark and they're scared of monsters and shit, and they think that a fucking light bulb is going to keep monsters from coming. It's like, oh, like the monsters show up and it's like, well, fucking it's goddamn 60 watts there. We just have to go the fuck back to hell. and then they're like, I don't have the heart to tell him that if a monster got in his house, he would fucking murder the entire fucking family and they wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's very.
We have
that's
some
a similar,
kind of faith.
Yeah, that's a similar kind of premise to the Darkness Falls. You remember that one? It was basically a horror movie about the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
And that's the way you, as long as you're in the light, she couldn't get you. That's that's which was interesting concept for that movie. Not a good movie.
Yeah,
though.
there's another one called like Lights On or Lights Off or some shit like that. It was the same kind of concept.
Lights Out.
Lights Out.
I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if that's it or not, but yeah, same concept. Yeah, sure.
So I still remember
when it involves this kind of things that the kids believe in, it's worse. It makes it worse because you see it as a kid with a kid's eyes, and it makes it really, really ugly, really scary.
Yeah,
I never saw that one.
Yeah, they say like kids are more open and susceptible to experiencing those kinds of things because of, I guess, the innocence or whatever.
Stupid.
I don't know. Gullible. Yeah.
So I've told the story in here. I told you about my grandmother and that fucking voicemail, right? Have I told that on here?
Yes.
So I'll tell
did.
Stephanie. So my grandmother died. This has been 20 years ago, probably, but we called her Granny. And she had died. The funeral's over, and it was like a week fucking later. My phone pinged with a new voicemail. It never rang, but a voicemail. And I picked it up, and it was my grandmother saying, "Steven, call your granny." And that was it. But this was like 2 fucking weeks after she died. And granted, this is in the earlier days of cell phones, so it could have been floating around the ether and then popped in. But still, because I remember I was driving in Columbia. And I was at a light when it popped up, and I picked up, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I've got goosebumps. Yeah.
It's just,
that was so weird because they also say, and I know there's all kinds of paranormal theories with half the crackpot investigators, but that like supernatural entities can work and communicate through electronic fields and means and all that shit. And so that's immediately what popped into my head because that's when was it? Ghost Hunters was really big, the bullshit fucking sci-fi thing. But I was just like, yeah, fuck this shit. This is stupid. I got a new phone.
You can't call me no more. Change my number.
But she also told me, and I didn't because back when I was playing music then.
Please tell me she said she's going to haunt you afterwards.
Yeah.
She died.
So I told her. No. So when she was dying, like in the hospital, she had me come in. And I've played music for a long time, and I was fucking terrible at this point in my life.
Yeah.
And but she called me in there, like I went to see her, and she said, "Steven, I want you to make me a promise." And I was like, "Sure, Granny, whatever." She goes, "Promise me you won't sing at my funeral, because if you do, I'm gonna come back and haunt your ass." And you tried? gonna sing that stupid song that she sings at every fucking funeral she goes. She doesn't say fucking, but every funeral she goes to. But I didn't sing at a funeral, man. She still called me on voicemail fucking 2 weeks later.
Maybe that's the reason.
Dude, I swear to shit. Like, if we take these shows and we played them back in order, it's just gonna be a slideshow of me getting fatter in every goddamn episode. Like, I'm looking at myself in the camera and I'm like, God damn it.
How much Fruity Pebbles did you eat this week?
No Fruity Pebble. I did eat some Fruit Loops one night.
All right. Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
That's better for you.
And still, that's just
food.
Nothing to do with any part of this conversation. I just looked at the camera and I was like, fuck.
Okay, you can express yourself. You've got a right to.
You
what
stay
if
out
your
of
grandmother really? Yeah. Wait, what if your grandmother was about to tell you something like really important for your life or something?
Yeah. Well, she didn't have a cell phone, so there's no way for me to call.
She should have used nights and weekends so it wouldn't cost so much.
Yeah, no, she didn't have a phone, so there's no way for me to call her back. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I would have called. My grandfather would have answered and be like, "Why the hell are you calling me?"
Oh God! Oh Lord!
I would have shaken me, I think.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Okay, so
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
You don't. Okay. Dead loved one. What up, yo?
You know, I've decided now, if I die before Stephanie, I'm going to call her afterwards.
Okay. I will recognize you.
Yeah,
when I inevitably die before everyone,
yeah,
I'm going to haunt the fuck out of as many people as I can.
Do you know that it would take 2 hands for me to count how many times per year that a week rolls up and I go, what if I find out that Steven died this week? I'm not kidding to you. I just had it a week or so ago. Like, I was just like that. I ran through my head getting that text or call from Amanda saying that, whatever, you had a motorcycle. Like, motorcycle's new because you just recently got it. So like, you've had an accident, you're dead. Yeah. So
yeah, but I mean, I
don't take the obvious things that are going to happen, like drank yourself to death, hung yourself, ate a bullet. It's motorcycle. It's just motorcycle. Yeah.
No, but you know as well as I do, like, yeah, but what's going to be funny is I'm going to outlive all you motherfuckers, and then I'm going to be buried in my self-loathing without anyone to, like, project it on.
I hope that you outlive everyone. I hope you do. I hope you have to bury your kids, your parents, your wife. I hope you outlive everyone. I hope you find I hope you find the fountain of youth that's just like somebody pissed in it, so you don't live forever. You just live an extra 50 years.
That's the greatest thing anyone has ever wished upon me.
That's the weirdest thing to wish.
No, that's exactly the type of thing that you would wish on me.
Yeah, for sure. Oh God.
You need a sign though. If you come back, you need a sign, so we know it's you. Something really special.
Ectoplasm.
I shouldn't say that.
Oh God! If a ghost,
like, what is this blue shit on my face?
You have a ghost. Like, if you're a ghost, show yourself, and the ghost is gonna be like, "I don't care. I don't care. It's not enough. I don't care." That's how you know it's him.
It's like there's a really below average penis floating in the air. Obviously, Steven.
Yeah. Oh God.
So welcome to the show.
The wine looks really, really good.
It's all right.
Yes, not bad.
It's all right. It's making it hot in here.
I noticed you took the glass away when I refilled.
Yes,
mine.
I did, because I will pour wine at my own leisure.
Leisure.
Yes.
Yeah, wine is like was it in Community? It's my favorite no juice.
Good no juice. Yeah.
All right, so outside of being an author, like what kind of stuff are you into? What kind of stuff, like your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Besides writing?
Well, besides writing and listening to B3F.
Obviously, that's my second favorite thing in the world. I used to draw a lot. do sketches, this kind of things. I like. I am a trained hypnotist.
No
So I like,
way.
yeah, I know. I know. It's part of, I've studied a bit psychology, so that's my thing. And hypnosis is something really, really, really cool. I used to actually have clients and stuff, but then I got way too busy to do that. So I do it for myself, for my family and friends stuff. I don't do it as a professional anymore, but it's a funny thing to do. And it's helpful. I can help you. And it's actually, it's an interesting thing to try hypnosis.
I wanted to be hypnotized so bad because my brain, I'm one of those people like I couldn't be hypnotized.
That's what I think, because I'm hyper vigilant of sounds, and I notice everything and hear everything that I don't know that it would work.
But if I could
me.
be, that'd be fucking sweet.
That would be an amazing party trick, though, to be able to hypnotize people.
Yeah,
that would be insane. Do you know how many minors Jordan would have fucked back in the day if he could have hypnotized people?
Yeah, we have a friend of mine or a friend of ours that's often less than
probably a friend of yours now. After I just said,
but
that.
he's less than above board with a lot of his motivations for doing things. So, be a weapon.
No, I would definitely use that at parties if I could hypnotize people. I'm just like not.
That's probably why you can't.
Not against people's will, but I'm just saying, you guys want to see a trick? I could hypnotize people, because some bro is gonna be like, bro, you can't hypnotize me. And I'm like, oh, you're fixing to stick your cock in that cactus. Oh, do you ever do that with family, like just to have fun, like where they're agreeing upon it? I'm saying hypnotize, quack like a duck.
My husband, it never worked, because I suspect him to resist that because he doesn't want to say things. But no, it never worked. It never really worked with him. With some other people, yes. No. Just to relax, not for crazy, complicated things. But my husband never wanted to.
Yeah.
He's resisting to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
With friends and family, yes, I do that a lot.
Yeah. So have you ever helped anybody quit smoking or anything like that?
Quit drinking?
Or
smoking.
Yes, actually.
I thought that was a very, very pointed comment.
Yeah. It's very.
What?
Yeah,
maybe what?
We had earlier, maybe.
No, actually, yes. I had one client when I was working as an hypnotist, but I got to say that most people come to me for anxiety, trouble, this kind of things. Mm-hmm. And that shit works very, very well on that anxiety crisis and depression too. That really helps.
Okay. Yep. We just had a comment from Fabricio Perez Cortez. I can't pronounce it. Hi, everybody, Mr. Nielsen and Steph. Emoji.
That's Fabricio. Yeah, he's on Instagram. He's a very cool guy. From Mexico. He's a heavy metal fan like me.
Okay. Oh, heavy metal. Okay. What do you like? Heavy metal.
I'm not sure you can see it. I'm a fan of classic heavy metal, Iron Maiden, but we have a lot of European bands you may not know, Halloween, this kind of things.
Yep.
So heavy metal from 80s, 90s.
Okay.
I'm kind of old, so.
Yeah.
And I am a drummer. My husband plays guitar, and I play drums. I had to sell my drums when we moved to city, so I don't have drums anymore. But I do love that.
Do you have any recorded music that we can listen to?
Not anymore, actually. Not anymore, because there are no parents on my disc. I did the records I have. Yeah, sorry. We stayed at my parents' house, and I haven't played drums in years since we moved. Actually, yeah, I miss that. It's kind of cool to you know,
So,
let some
were you a
steam
heavy
out
metal
when
drummer?
playing.
Well, no shit.
Were you a heavy metal drummer?
More of a rock drummer because heavy metal is very technical.
Sure.
Yeah.
See?
And,
Okay.
Dickhead.
My bad.
no.
Well, I guess so. So when we were younger, we had a
Sure.
really shitty punk rock band, and our drummer at the time, who wasn't a bad drummer, refused to play punk rock drums. His favorite band was fucking Matchbox 20,
Sure.
and that's all he would play was like really fast pop rock drums.
Sure.
It was infuriating.
Yeah. And you refused to play the click track when we were recorded.
Yeah.
We had to convince him that all of the famous drummers do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
No, bro, I don't need it.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Oh well.
The more I drink this wine, the more that I like it.
Sure. That's how wine goes.
Yeah.
So what kind of music? I mean, you guys just play a straight kind of rock music, you and your husband, or what?
Yeah, well, he plays. He's a really good guitar player, so he will play, rock, heavy metal, this kind of things. We are not into the same kind of music. I'm more classic metal, but he's more into newer stuff. But I just can play guitar. I never made it to play guitar. I'm good at drums, but I never made it to play guitar, so I cannot really play with him now. I just can listen to him. Maybe one day.
Does he play in a band currently? Does he play in a band currently, or does he just play kind of to himself?
No. He used to, but again, since we moved, we are kind of alone in South, so we don't have a band anymore.
Gotcha.
Nice. So I have a new question. I'm going to start asking everyone that's watched the show before they come on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start asking people which one of us is their favorites.
Do you really have to choose?
Yes, 100%.
You know, it took me like 1 year to find out which one was Steven and which one was Joey.
That's fair.
Okay, so I can now. You can pick. Really, it's too hard.
Yes. Oh, yes, you can.
But okay, the point goes.
My favorite's Joey.
Nah, the point goes to the one who posted a picture on Instagram. I think you will remember which one, with a very nice picture of Jay Nilsson. You remember that?
I don't know which picture. We posted multiples of Jay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The one you slept with. The picture.
Oh, yeah, no, that's him. Yeah, that's
okay, that makes an extra point, but only for that.
Well, it's funny though, the picture that I posted of Anders of me and Anders together on that one, what I cut out was me having my hand on his dick.
Yeah, that's right.
I cut that out for posterity.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I have it.
It was a full
Yeah.
And I would like to say it is not small. I was
publicly advertising and those private.
Yeah. That shit would split me in half. That's all I'm saying.
But that was really funny. I love the show you made with both of them. It was funny. It was hilarious, actually.
Yeah, we had a good time.
You know, I felt for Anders because when you talk about the handle, remember, he was basically trying to get any kind of indication, and he never got an answer.
Yeah.
I really felt for him.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on them eventually to call me and cash in on the thing I signed to take my molars to make a knife.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
Okay. Are you sure they're gonna call back after that?
Yeah, I don't know. We may never hear from them again.
Which I would not blame my mom.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, that was funny.
It's amazing to me that they've come back so much, because most people after they come on the show once are like, nah, one's good.
Yeah. Them and the dumbass dudes and Trevor.
Yeah.
They're the only ones.
Yeah.
So. Oh,
no, it shows they had fun, and when you drove all the way up to Pennsylvania.
Yep.
That's right.
You,
Kentucky.
I had to check on Google pencil talkie. I thought it was something like a lot, dirtier than that. I didn't understand first. Okay, what do they mean by pencil talkie?
Yeah. So do you listen to a lot of other podcasts at all? Are you like a podcast fan or just more music and things like that?
I don't have a time for that. That's I'd like to. There are a lot of podcasts I love about murder and this kind of things.
Mhm.
We have podcasts about history.
Mhm.
I'm always curious about this kind of things, but I just do not have the time for that now. I wish I could see more of that because I'm curious, but I just can't.
So in other words, we're just super fucking special, is what you're saying.
Right.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
With the accent, I can't read into sarcasm.
No, I think that was French sarcasm.
You get the sarcasm even with the accent, really?
I think so. No, I think I get. I think I'm an expert in sarcasm.
I'm doomed because anytime I try to joke about something in English, no one will really understand because of my accent. So okay, what the hell, whatever.
No one can tell when we're joking either, so it's fine.
That's true. Yeah. I was speaking of podcasts, and she brought up history. And I was like, "Are you into history at all?" Because that's something I don't really know about you that I can think of. Like,
what?
I don't really know. Like, do you like history stuff or whatever?
I like history conceptually.
So
but when it comes to reading into things and like researching, no.
You like Dan Cummins' Time Suck, but
yes.
there's a podcast called Hardcore History, and I think it's Dan Carlin does it. Maybe I don't get into it because fuck history. I mean, but.
No, see, the reason I like Time Suck is they cover some historical shit, but it's a lot of like serial killers, which fascinate the shit out of me. And and he does like conspiracy theories and different shit like that.
Well, my understanding is hardcore history really kind of digs into the shit that you never hear about in history.
Well, because history is literally written by the victors, right? So there's a lot of like subtext and other shit that happens that you never fucking know about it.
True fact.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
I would watch like 3-4 podcasts about psycho killers because it doesn't fascinate me, but I still have this curiosity about psychology, psychopathology. So I will watch a lot of that.
Well, there's one that's called Time Suck, and it's basically if you and I or one of us did a like true crime podcast. It's fucking wonderful. And I didn't think I would like it because I hate podcasts, but our friend Ben introduced it, and I like that's what I listen to when I go get the kids.
Yeah.
So it's if you like serial killing, and they also do a lot on cults. He does a lot of them on cults as well. So if you like that shit, and then like our fucked up sense of humor, it's a good combo.
Oh, we try it, sure.
Yeah, do it. I dare you.
That always gives a lot of ideas for more books,
Yeah.
Whenever you read those kind of stories, pops up another idea for a book.
Yeah, well, the thing that fascinates me about the serial killers and why I'm fascinated about that is not the crimes they committed, but like I share the same diagnosis as so many of different serial killers along the way. And so like it makes me wonder, like, had I been finger blasted by an uncle when I was a kid, would I have become a serial killer? Like the nature versus nurture shit, like that fascinates the shit out of me. Like what would it have taken for me to flip and been on that side of things as opposed to just being the insensitive asshole that I am.
If you ever become a serial killer,
I'd be so good at
Hold on a minute. You think you would. I don't know. If you ever become a serial killer, and hear me out.
I'm hearing.
I'm going to stay with my wife, but we will divorce. Same for you. We will marry. Hold on a minute. Just hear me out.
I'm hearing you out.
We will marry. I will do a new podcast about your crimes because a spouse cannot be made to testify against their spouse.
Game on.
Okay, I witnessed that.
That's right.
I've made some poor decisions over the last few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think, what really is fascinating is the fact that we can understand killers, that we can way too well understand why they do that. And like you said, is that nature or environment? What makes a serial killer? And it's the question. It's actually the question I make in Looking for Sally. Why does it turn wrong? Why does it turn into a killer? The guy is a family guy, and he starts killing everybody around him. So that's exactly the same kind of reflection.
Yeah.
While we're talking, I'm gonna pop this shit into Google Translate because I have no fucking clue what it is. We're still talking.
Yeah. So, so you're talking about like psychology of criminals. It's one thing my wife had said she wished that she knew about the she wished she had known about like the FBI's behavior unit before she was too old to join the FBI, because she would have loved to have gotten in. I mean, she's a behavior analyst, has done that for the school system. So she gets the kids that eventually turn into serial killers before and she's the one that basically would solve the issue and keep them from becoming serial killers.
That's what I say. The interesting thing about a lot of serial killers is, had they had either parents or people that have been more sensitive to what was going on and gotten into therapy, it may not have prevented it,
might have ended at neighborhood animals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It would have stopped after burning the cats.
So the guy I went to high school with, his younger brother, who is the age of my younger brother, used to, and I don't know what happened, because this guy became a teacher. The kid I'm talking about became a teacher. He used to catch baby birds that fell out of a nest and throw them on the grill and light them on fire.
Jesus.
Bury cats in the yard and then run over them with a lawnmower.
I remember
serial killer. I mean, like
that's
legitimate shit.
Psychopath
shit. And I'm pretty sure he's become a teacher.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I had the sociopath diagnosis, but not the, psychopath. Because again, I'm very aware, and I can, anyway, it's fucking crazy to me. Nature versus nurture, baby.
Yeah.
It's
an interesting topic. So,
yeah. There was this psychiatrist, actually, I remember, he made how do you call that? Brain scan.
Yeah.
And he took several of them to make a comparison, and there were killers scans. And one guy of his crew actually put his own brain scan in the middle of the others, and the psychiatrist just checked them and said, "Oh, that one guy has to be the worst sociopath we've ever met." And it actually was his own brain scan.
Yeah, I've heard this story before.
Yeah. That's where I started actually questioning: is that nature, culture?
Yeah.
But that's very interesting, because we can have the same.
Yeah.
It's all about how it manifests, and then I think a lot of I think that's where the nature versus nurture combos are. Like, you can't help how your brain chemistry is, but how it's directed when you're younger can make a giant change in how the outcome is.
Also, a great episode of Community. It's a bottle episode where they're
the bottle episode.
Who's the killer?
Yeah.
So
around this time, and you probably know this, we usually take a quick break. So are you good to hang around with us for a little bit longer?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, right. So we're gonna go on break, probably give or take 10 minutes or so. So
I will text you right before we come back.
Okay.
All right. I guess I should probably pull up the on a break text. Yeah.
So for anyone watching, we will be back in roughly 10 minutes, and then we'll get back to it. Maybe we'll go over some news.
Yep.
So
all right, be right back.
All right, here we are.
I switched up the video sides. I see that. I like doing that. Change it up a little bit.
Well, now on the other side of the screen is not cutting off half of her. So yeah now we're good.
So we appreciate you hanging around. I know you only have, you said what, another 30 minutes and you need to run away?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Another 30
no problem.
minutes.
Typical French person.
I don't know. What could you possibly have better
committing
to do?
to something and then just running away?
What could you possibly have better to do than this? Next thing you know, you're going to take the Statue of Liberty back.
Well, that's a possibility. I may ask that. Yeah.
I actually had a
It's
question
better
to kick
ways,
things
yes.
off, and I've completely forgotten what it was.
I'm not surprised.
I'm
at
not
all.
surprised either.
Yeah. So, I did want to ask this, similar to what you said. You wanted to know who her favorite was. Is I was going to say, being on this show, what did you expect versus what you've gotten? That's what I wanted to know.
I expect exactly what's going on, having fun, I'm having a good time, and that's exactly what I expected. I'm not
Gotcha.
That's okay for me. I'm just
No, that's perfectly fine. I wonder that about people sometimes.
I've had a terrible time so far.
Because sometimes people come on, then we never hear from them again.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so I tell you what we could.
no, I watched this show before that.
Sure.
No.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we've actually been pretty tame this show.
We have been pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. As I thought, what we could do is, especially if you don't have a kink of the week, we could do some bag of shit.
Oh, I can pull up one. I had one ready, but yeah, go ahead. If you want to do bag of shit.
Which one was? Oh, look at that. That's what I would have chosen, but I wasn't for sure.
So do you know the bag of shit? Have you seen us do that?
Sit back and relax.
All right, that's enough.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So
we have a bag, aptly named bag of shit, and there are random topics in here that we've put in over time, and we're gonna pull a topic out,
Okay.
and whatever it makes you
Alright.
think of, that's what we'll talk about. Okay.
Okay.
Since you're not here with us, this first
Let's
one
do
I'll
that.
draw for you, and let's see what we get.
what is
The Super Bowl?
Oh Jesus!
The Super Bowl.
You know, the first thing I think of is fucking waste of time. That's what the first thing I think of.
The first thing I think of is French absolutely don't get what this game is about.
Football
We understand
American football?
but we never understood the rules of this game. Never.
I got you.
I do find it funny that we decided to be like, yeah, we're gonna name our own sport football. Fuck everyone else. Like we came up with no other name, like pass ball.
I think that's one reason I like hockey so much, is because it's like a mixture of soccer and football. And I had another one that I just completely blanked on it. But anyway, yeah. So whatever. The Super Bowl. But a lot of people think about all the new commercials that we get at Super Bowl time, and that's where a lot of people go. But when I think Super Bowl, I immediately think of all of the tweets you're going to see that are #sportsball that people post, where they try to act like they don't know what's going on that day. And I'm like, also, most of those people will say that they're very in tune with pop culture. And if that's the case, then you should absolutely know what's going on with the Super Bowl, because it's the biggest event on TV of the year. It's insane.
In the States, yeah.
Yeah, well, sure, in the States, but what else matters? But I mean, anyway, the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Okay. It's something that it's kind of can you say that it's symbol of the United States for us outsiders. When you think about Super Bowl, it's really something that's very American, and the advertising, the concerts, that kind of thing. It's a big show. I don't understand a thing about this game. I will watch WrestleMania. I'm a fan of wrestling, but so I never watched the Super Bowl. I never saw it.
What,
Maybe
what kind of wrestling? Like real wrestling or like professional, like
Greco-Roman or
Hulk Hogan?
Greco-Roman.
Yeah, brother.
I Yeah, WWE. I started watching wrestling when I was long ago. I was a teenager, so it was Sting time, Ric Flair, this kind of guys. I just love that.
Nature Boy.
All right. So she's
Yeah,
about our age.
I just
then.
love
So I
wrestling.
Oh, you think so? I figured she was just
like a little younger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
but I mean ballpark.
But yeah, Sting and Ric Flair. I mean, yeah, they're around, and then The Rock started coming into play, and Stone Cold.
Yeah. What I don't understand about like football, well, I should say I don't understand. I find it funny because as much fandom as there is around like NFL Super Bowl, like it doesn't even hold a candle to like the fanfare around like soccer or European football. Like
yeah, as far as it goes,
not
in,
even
in,
close.
in the other parts of the world, for sure.
Yeah.
Like
in NFL, like American football, like you don't hear of people sharpening pennies and throwing them at people or
sure.
spraying ammonia in people's eyes.
Well, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was like Rome or I don't know, Greece or Italy or somebody like that. But their team was playing another team, and there was a black person on the other team, and they threw bananas onto the pitch.
Yeah, super fucked up.
Yeah. So that's say what you will about the U.S. We don't do shit like that.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I will say though, how did
you're
you
right.
able to have like, the least popular football teams in like on the national stage?
That's a question. What was least popular? Soccer or football team?
I was talking about European football, so soccer.
Yeah,
but I was just being an asshole. I'm just saying, like, it's usually, whatever.
But our men's soccer team is the worst.
Oh, like, dude, American
awful.
men's is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
No, they're awful.
Now our women's team, fuck off. We'll beat the shit out of all of them. But our men's team, nah. We're awful.
Well, I always
right. You have a huge women soccer team, actually.
Yeah.
Well, what always has amazed me, well, I shouldn't say amazed me. One thing I've heard a lot of is the big difference between like American soccer teams and the rest of it is we're not technical players, like comparatively.
It's not as beautiful of a sport here as it is in the rest of the world.
No, it's just a bunch of brutes going out and doing whatever. You don't have the same finesse.
People that couldn't make the football team.
Right. Yeah, it's not nearly as much finesse and technical skill as it is in other parts of the world.
Sure.
Well,
so
soccer is a big thing.
Yeah.
So I like she's not commenting much.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can talk as much shit as you want.
I'm French and Italian, so soccer, obviously.
Sure. What about Formula One? Being French and Italian, I mean, how are you on Formula One?
I was just saying, actually, that's a good question. We had my two parents fighting when Italy was playing France in soccer. Every freaking time, they actually fought for that. But I'm not such a fan of one team or the other team. I just love watching,
Yeah.
I don't care about. I'm not such a.
I like it better than
soccer. Yeah, some soccer fans really suck. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, sure.
Like I got to go to one, and I think I've told the story before. I got to go to one professional football game when I was in England, when I lived there with Manchester United, and I think they were playing like the Austrian national team, and that shit was fucking insane.
Oh yeah,
to be at. I mean, I was like 15 or 16, but dude, it was fucking crazy. Like it was so much fun though.
Yeah, for sure. Now, but American football, I think that there's a game that's going to happen in France this year, an NFL game. I know that they play one or two games in England every year, but I want to say I heard that there's going to be one in France this year too.
I feel like that we do shit like that. Like it's different than the dream team in basketball because that shit's kind of evened out a little bit. But I feel like we try to take these sports that aren't really played heavily in other countries just so we can go be like, yeah, fuck yeah, we're so awesome.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's part of it. I'm sure, but we get these like England has requested to have
Yeah.
the NFL come play games over there.
Yeah, but I just mean it. To
I
me,
heard rumor that in England there's talks of England putting together an NFL team
Yeah.
to compete with
I think
us.
that'd be fucking cool.
It would be.
But what I'm saying is, like, to me, like a lot of what we do occasionally over the years with that stuff would be the equivalent of me going to like a preschool and be like, all right, MMA brawl, me against you guys, and just beating the shit out of some fucking toddlers.
Sure.
Because they've never really, they've obviously never thrown fists.
I just think it's funny that in baseball, when it's it's called the World Series, and they call them world champions, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's all U.S. and like 2 Canadian teams, and that's it. Like,
yeah,
the world. Come on.
Well, I mean, but that's kind of the U.S.'s MO, though. It's like we want to be the best at everything, but only in the U.S.
Back-to-back World War champs, baby.
Right.
So, what about Formula One? I know that there's a French-ish driver that's leading the points right now, and then the Italian Ferrari team is doing quite well. Are you into Formula One like a lot of Europe, or no?
I used to. I stopped watching a while ago, but I used to. It's a stressing thing to watch, but I love that. We have Monaco. It's big. It's a big thing, and I like to, but it's too stressful. So I wait before, a few minutes before the end of the race. So I know that nothing bad happened, and I can watch it.
Yeah, sure.
I was going to bring this up earlier, but one thing that amazes me about like Paris specifically is having a Louvre, and that it's a world-renowned art museum. The Mona Lisa's there, and then you go through the Louvre, and there's these amazing fucking like murals and statues and these massive paintings that are the size of fucking like shopping mall walls. And then it'll be a ghost town, and then you walk in there and there's like 1,000 people crowded around the Mona Lisa, which literally looks like it does in every fucking photograph you see in every fucking history book. And I'm like, I get the history behind it, but like there's so much better art there than that, and it just blows my fucking mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
You're right. It seems like everybody is just attracted by this room and just want to see the Mona Lisa, and there's nothing else around that. Yeah. I agree with you. That's a pity. They should see the rest of it. There's so many beautiful things to see. But I guess, it has some special thing about Mona Lisa that no other painting, no other sculpture has, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm talking about like beautiful pieces. Like, holy shit. Well, it's kind of like we went to the when I was in New York a few months ago, we went to the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and there was all kinds of pieces and whatever, and you'd see people crowded around these like modern art installations, which I don't claim to be an art connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination. Like I appreciate talent across arts, but
sure,
you'd get people that are crowding around and taking photos of like these pieces that are like a bed in a corner with a lamp. Right. Something that's just like, I don't even understand. Like there's no part of this that speaks to me. And then you go up and there's like a whole like Picasso section, and you're just like, and there's nobody fucking there. And I'm just like, I don't get it.
But I think that quote bed with a single lamp, whatever, I don't think it speaks to anyone. I think they want to say it does.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because who sees a bed and a lamp and goes, oh fuck, man. That really hits hard.
Dude, I will say there's this one piece that was there, and I can't explain it. It was just blue. It was one canvas. It was all blue. But I've never seen a shade of blue like that. And I stared at that motherfucker for a good 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It was the craziest shit I've ever seen. And I can't explain. Like, there's no, like, it's a blue goddamn canvas. But the color of blue that it was
the canvas, the entire, all of it was the same color?
One color.
Yeah. That's probably it. It'd be like if you saw a perfect circle, it would probably mesmerize you.
Yeah. But seeing a Van Gogh,
not the band,
but seeing like a Van Gogh in person, the fact that you could see the fucking brushstrokes was goddamn incredible.
Yeah. Sure.
But again, then there's people crowded around of like some other shit. I'm like, I don't fucking, but again, I'm not a visual artist, so I don't process that shit the same way.
Have you guys ever seen any of those paintings where they take it to someone to be restored, and those part of some of those restorations, some of it is redoing some of those brushstrokes, and they just completely fuck it up. I mean, it's completely fucked up. So it's sad and funny at the same time.
Yeah, it's very sad. That's the story of this painting in Spain. I don't remember. It was a student or something who tried to restore it, and it was completely fucked up. And it looked like basically a 4-year-old drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of thing you do when you're a kid. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can let's do that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, you're gonna pick one now.
I'm gonna pick one now.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting how Super Bowl took us to paintings and art.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the bag of shit,
But that is the higher calling of
Yes.
the bag of shit. This one's one of yours because it's folded up like a fucking
mean-
autistic kid did it.
Folded up perfectly
Yes.
and probably written in all caps.
Couple friends.
There you go. Couples friends. Yeah.
There's no S. It's just
Well,
couple,
whatever. Couple
friends.
friends.
I was like, I have a couple of friends.
Yeah.
Sorry, talk. Okay, so immediately that makes me think of like couples being friends with other couples.
Right. Where you go out and do things with couples
Yeah, no,
instead of just a group of friends.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
I can't.
I knew that would set you
I
off.
can't even comprehend like the appeal of that.
If you and your wife, me and my wife have gone to dinner before, like
I didn't
things like
enjoy
that.
it.
Oh, bullshit.
I did not enjoy it.
It was your idea.
Oh yeah, still did not enjoy it.
Oh God, we're the worst friends ever. Really, we are. I just wish that your kids would die in front of you. And you just said you hate going out.
How long
Oh,
have you
my
been?
How long was that?
How long have you been friends?
Let's see. We're
You two?
41, so 25 years ish. Yeah, so we're around 16 when we became friends. So about 25 years. Yeah.
Oh my God, you survived
And
that.
I hate him more than anyone I've ever known.
Yeah, but you also love me more than anyone else as well.
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
but no,
very
like,
much.
but no, the thought of couples friends, like, I mean, good for some people that have that. I don't know, but I barely enjoy being around like one person at a time, much less like another couple, because I feel like you start having these obligatory things that occur
Yeah.
in like a couple's friendship, like either dinner or whatever, and then it becomes this thing. Like if your wives are really good friends, or if you're really good friends, then you're like, I don't want to be here anymore, or like your wife makes me want to punch children. You know
Sure.
what I mean? And I don't know. I don't like it.
Or you want to
Yeah.
fuck the other person's wife more than your own.
Right.
No.
I just saw the text message you sent me. It said your husband asks, "What do we have in our bar?"
Yeah. He's very curious about that.
Are you talking about this background photo?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's not actually
I stole it off the
our
internet.
bar, but give me just a second and I'll look because I do have a bar behind, and I'll tell you a couple of things that are on the bar real quick, and you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
While
he was
he's doing
curious about
that,
that.
what do you think about couple friends, like friends with other couples?
Yeah, I just like you. I feel that you cannot enjoy being with couples of friends because you are more friends with one of them. So it's kind of you feel kind of that obligation to be kind with the other one, even
Right.
when you don't want to be. It's not the
Yeah.
same thing when you have a friend coming over that you've been knowing for years and you can talk about everything.
Yeah.
I have the same feeling you do.
Yeah, I think even then though, like I've known Krista, Joey's wife, almost as long as I've known him. I like Krista just fine,
Sure.
but we don't get along the same way, right?
For sure.
And but really, like in general, unless there's a specific reason to go out, like it's just not something I personally enjoy at all.
My wife has a true love-hate relationship with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, she loves you. She'd do anything for you that she could, but she really doesn't like you. That's the
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But
so
I am also a terrible influence. I'm obnoxious. I'm abrasive.
I don't feel like either of us influence the other one.
No, not each other.
I think our inhibitions are lowered when we're around each other.
Yes.
I think that's it. Yeah. I don't know if we're trying to one up each other or if it's just like I can get away with this if I'm with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
So to answer the question you had, I grabbed 6 bottles here.
Come on,
we have McConnell's Irish whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So
Great.
McConnell's, it's pretty good.
It's pretty empty.
Yeah, most of it is. Yeah,
we drink heavily here.
1792. It's a small batch Kentucky straight bourbon. That was a gift from my brother Will. It's pretty good. I'm not a big bourbon fan, but that's pretty good.
And this is all just what we have now. Like I took a box to work with me.
Well, this is. I mean, there's probably 10 more bottles up there of random other stuff that we don't drink regularly. So we have the Busker Irish whiskey.
It's okay.
It's all right. Of course, Jameson Irish whiskey because we're basic bitches.
Mm-hmm.
I know this one.
Old Granddad. This is another Kentucky straight bourbon. It's this is 80 proof. It's not great, but it's pretty good if you do a pickleback with it.
Or the more you drink, the better.
Okay, I'll give you that.
No, so my first experience with Old Granddad was in Nome, Alaska. So I had gone there. I got a few days of leave, and they happen to have the Iditarod, which is the race that they have up there with the snow dogs and the fucking sled thing, the sled racing through, and it was like the finish line is in Nome.
Sure.
And I was there, and the band that was supposed to be playing canceled because they couldn't get in because of the snow. So I got to play the closing ceremony of the Iditarod, and they had that shit on sale for like $1.50 a shot.
I did not know you played like you were the headliner of the closing ceremony.
I was the only liner.
The only of the Iditarod. I did not know that. Wow. So you got to watch all those lesbians come across the line right there at the end.
I think it had ended the day before, but it was like the closing festival, hangout, drinking time, but whatever.
Well, and then the last bottle I brought over here is for our black listeners, Courvoisier. It's a cognac.
Oh, cognac.
But we did learn something. We learned new that cognac mixed with ginger ale or Sprite. So good.
You and I had it with ginger ale. Very good. I had it again by myself without you with Sprite. Even better.
Mm-hmm. Because I hate it by itself.
And that was I thought about it while you're on your hair. It's like I should have done cognac.
Yeah. Well, so what she said in answer to the bag of shit that.
No, I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She feels the same as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have reached the point where I'm the same way. We have had a couple anyway that we were friends with that we got along with the two of them equally, and that was all right.
And see, Amanda has friends and their husbands like I can cope for an evening, like going out and deal with it. But I find that most people I don't get along with. And I don't say like I fight with, but I'm just saying like they annoy me or we share none of the same interests. Like I don't give a shit about anything that they like. Yeah. And so I have to pretend and just be like,
you can't make the jokes you want to make. I mean, you may make them, but they don't get it or they don't like it.
Yeah, that's probably more. I still curb it back a little bit. Like the first time I meet somebody from the South, I'm not like saying some jokes about like Jesus. I'm not making Jesus jokes, right?
Sure.
But
or dead baby jokes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or fried rice jokes.
Jesus. Well, like my favorite one for Stephanie. So what's the difference between a trampoline and a baby?
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm scared to know the answer.
You take your shoes off before you jump on a trampoline.
There's a murder for the next book.
All right, it's your turn.
Well, I'm taking notes.
Are you?
I spent the evening taking notes for my next book.
Oh, uh-oh.
Well, I'm a favorite. In the next book.
Yeah, really. So I know you said you had about 30 minutes, and that's been about 23, 24, 5 minutes ago. So rather than get into another topic, it takes a long time. I figure we can go ahead and let you go.
Do we want to do a kink of the week real quick?
I mean, is anything real quick? That's the thing.
No, this one is because she's got 7 minutes. It's a 7-minute wrap up.
Okay.
Have you heard us do a kink of the week?
Nope.
Okay, so what we usually do is we pick a really random like kink that we've never heard of, and then we just discuss for just a couple minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Nope.
Why?
Nope. There it is.
Okay. I was actually Googling porn music.
All right. What we have here is the kink of the week. All right. This one is nasolingus.
Oh, I know this one.
I know. NASOLINGUS.
That's my jam.
Okay.
Yep. And that is the arousal to sucking on a person's nose.
Oh God, that's gross. Okay.
But I will say out of all of the ones we've talked about, this one makes the most sense to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Really?
I'd rather lick someone's eyeball than suck on their nose.
And I'm not saying like it would be sexy, but I'm saying like I would rather have somebody super turned on by sucking my nose or vice versa than fucking a goddamn chicken. Is what
Okay, sure.
This is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Okay, you're weird.
Yeah.
You're definitely weird.
You're not our favorite anymore.
That's fair. No, but
I may change favorites.
That's right.
That's fine. Like I could not, I wouldn't see myself enjoying sucking on somebody else's nose, but I was like, someone wants to suck on my nose. I wouldn't stop it. Like, I don't think I'd be into it, but I'd be like, yeah, okay. That's what you're into.
You ever sucked on anyone's nose before?
No.
It's a scientific curiosity, right? Tell
Yeah.
me it's scientific curiosity.
Well, it makes me think of, have you ever see Hot Shots Part 2? The second one is when she's like, kiss me like no one's ever kissed me before. And he goes on, he starts fucking sucking on her nose.
Sure.
I'm like, it's a great scene.
Sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever accidentally, like in the dark, went in to kiss your wife, kiss her goodnight, whatever, and get to her nose first?
Yeah. Or an eye or something random.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like there's nothing appealing to me about
it's dark in here. I didn't realize it was your asshole.
But I'm just saying, like, out of all the ones that we've gone over, this one,
Sure.
like this one is the most
It's
logical.
probably the least I can't think of the word I'm trying to
but I guess like what I'm saying is like this one would
scarring.
this one would have to come out of like the least trauma of your background to be into.
Imagine, so you said fucking. Imagine if you fuck one of those rubber chickens, you know what I'm talking about? It's just the whole time, just she's making that noise. Oh God.
Okay, I give it to you. Maybe the less traumatizing. Maybe.
No.
So what if you, all right, your husband comes to you and he's like, I'd really like to suck on your nose.
Okay. Well, not sure. Probably panic.
Okay.
I think we figured out the next murder in her book.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying, if Amanda came to me and is like, I really want to suck on your nose, I'd be like, all right. Like,
I mean,
if it does something for you, sure, I'm good with it.
But what if she said she wanted you to suck her nose?
I would. It's just a nose.
Sure,
it's fine.
I mean, I agree. If my wife, there's not a lot I wouldn't do if my wife asked me. To. There's some, but there's not a lot.
Yeah, I think you don't know much.
Yeah. So,
I mean, to me, it's like if you'll eat a booty, why wouldn't you suck a nose? That's my point.
But I bet you there are people out there that are like completely turned off, but eat ass all day. I bet you there are people out there that do that.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
I have a group of 3 people I'm thinking about asking right now.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is like the nose thing. Like I said, out of all the shit that we've gone into, this is the least weird to me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's weird, but it's not like fucked up.
It's weird if you're really turned on by it and really into it.
Like if that's the only way you can kill is by sucking a nose.
Or I don't know, but if that's like your first thought is,
but
like,
are there layers into it? Does it have to be like
you meet a girl and you pick her based on the shape of her nose, so that you, like, or a guy, vice versa?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, so, but I feel like there'd have to be layers to this. It's like, oh no, only noses when you have a head cold, right?
Yeah, you know what?
Nose.
Yeah,
I think I don't like it because it reminds me of a COVID test.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's like a very organic COVID test.
Anybody can use the COVID test at the end of it. They take the COVID test, they stick it in there, and then they stick the little thing in there. And they go,
I can taste the COVID.
Oh God! All right. Okay.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the show. We've had a great time.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time, and I'm really happy to I spent this evening with you. Really nice. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, and send us the links to like
anything you want to promote.
Books, anything you want to promote. We'll be sure we put it in the show notes and all that stuff. Yep.
Sure. Yeah, the book will be released in English in a few days. So I will send you the link. Sure.
Okay. Awesome.
And real quick before you go ahead and you promote or mention anything that you want to spit out.
Sure.
Anything at all.
Okay. Well, I'm live every Saturday evening or twice in a month to talk about the books, about horror things. So if anyone wants to join, feel free to join. It's early for the United States, but around 9 p.m. in France, we have a lot of fun. We talk about what we write. Most of us are authors, horror things, psychopath things, and we have a lot of fun. And of course, looking for Sally 1 and 2. The second one will be released in a few days, so this is going to be huge.
So I got one more thing I want to ask you to do. I want you to say that, but I want you to do it in French and say, "Hi, I'm," and then say your name, and you're listening to B3F podcast, and say it in French. And I'm going to use it as a promo at some point.
Bonsoir, je suis Stéphanie et vous regardez B3F podcast.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
And can you also say Joey's a piece of shit?
Yeah.
No, I won't say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the first person we've ever gotten to say anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use that at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks.
us. Tell your husband we said hi and
Thank you.
thank
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. Have a good night.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
All right.
All right. That is Stephanie, and I'm just not sure how to pronounce her last name. But anyway,
Pronounce her name.
oui, oui.
Oui, oui. Oh shit, that was fun.
Yeah, that was.
I felt I don't feel bad, so that's the wrong way to put it. But like a part of it, I was like, should we talk about her books more? Because she's a talented, she's a talented lady. And I was like, it's our show. We'll talk about what the fuck we want.
For sure. So I had something I wanted to go over with you, and I kind of hoped I could, just because of a female perspective, bring this up with her, but she's limited on time, and I want to be
real quick. Look at
that.
this. Look at this shit. Look how gross that is. I wore a baggier shirt today, and it does
It's
not
wrinkled
help.
as fuck too.
I don't give a shit about that.
I understand. All right, so but I wanted that's something I wanted to go over with you. And it's not news, but it is from the Am I the Asshole
Oh, okay. From
category.
we
So
did these for a while.
We did.
also haven't
We
done
did.
a wiki howl in a while either. but-
we haven't. But anyway, maybe we'll do that in a couple weeks. So the headline of this, I got this from BuzzFeed. Thank you so much. I had a blast talking with you guys. That's from Stephanie
Nice.
just now. So,
God damn it. On BuzzFeed,
well, no, they
they reposted a Reddit. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Okay. I got you.
So, this husband, quote, embarrassed his mother-in-law at the dinner table, and people have strong opinions about the wife's handling of the situation. So that's the BuzzFeed headline.
Okay.
I don't care about other people's reactions to it as much as our reaction to it.
Okay.
It says recently a fed up husband made some cutting comments to his mother-in-law, consequently putting the wife in a weird spot as the middleman.
Jesus.
I don't consider that a weird spot, but conflicted, she took to the subreddit to determine if she was an asshole for her handling of the situation.
Okay.
So anyway, so what the woman who asked, she's asking, well, here's what she says. So I, a 31-year-old female, recently got married to my husband, Scott, who's 36.
Fucking Scott.
Yeah. Before I met him, I was engaged to my former fiance, Martin, but we broke it off because this relationship was sort of pushed by my family. He's a doctor and comes from a wealthy family. And when our relationship ended, my mom was devastated.
Okay. But also part of me feels like that she was banging Scott and that's what ended the relationship. But
Probably.
Yeah.
Or
There's a
she used him
crossover.
to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did her best to bring us back together. For example, she lied to Martin about me being pregnant to save us. So her former fiance, she lied to. The
Right.
mom said she was pregnant.
Right.
Anyway, that was years ago. Now we're all on good terms, including Martin. Mom has a bit of tension towards Scott, the new husband, her current husband. She treats him well, but consistently makes passive, nagging comments about him. She compares him to Martin all the time, which bothers both of us, but we try to let it slide.
Mhm.
So said the mom kept telling her current husband about the diamond ring, new car, and bank account that Martin got his new fiance, and kept sending him photos saying how generous Martin was to his, fiance, compared him to Scott and what he had done for her. And Scott, And I told her to stop doing this, and she apologized.
Mhm.
Last week, we were over at my parents' house for a social gathering. A lot of relatives came, and we had dinner. At the dinner table, Mom asked Scott if he saw the text she sent him the other day. He said he was sorry and that he didn't notice. She told him to check it right then and read it out loud so everyone at the table could hear. He took his phone and started reading the text out loud. Her text mentioned how Martin got his fiancée a new house and how generous he was, and said that Martin is younger than Scott, yet was able to buy a house, basically shaming Scott for his inability to buy a house. She wrapped up by saying that Martin maybe wasn't so bad for her daughter after all.
Okay.
She said, I was shocked, and Scott was pissed, obviously. However, he didn't lash out or anything. He looked at the text, smiled, and said, you know what gets me about this entire text is how you are a public educator for 30 years, yet you can't differentiate between the passive you and the contraction you are. Good God, the thought of all the children that must have been left behind. I can hang out with Scott.
Yeah, I
can hang out with Scott. Everyone at the table busted into laughter, and Mom's face went pale. She decided to leave the table. Then she and my sister started yelling at me, saying Scott was being awfully rude, and I need to get him to apologize immediately for embarrassing Mom at the table. She concluded with, I refused to tell him to apologize. The woman who's getting the story refused to tell her husband, Scott, to apologize, then pointed out how she was being judgmental toward him. She defended herself, saying she was just letting him know, and he had no confidence and took it personally. I left, but kept getting told to talk to him and get him to apologize for what he did. I don't know. Anyway, so that's what her question was. Is she an asshole?
No,
that's absolutely not. She's not an asshole.
She
should have nipped it in the bud probably earlier.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
So she's a bit of an asshole.
If she's an asshole for anything, it's because she's not taking a hard stance on his side of shit. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It's
because it sounds like they've been very nice as far as trying to deal with her mom. But no, I feel like that Scott was fucking classy as shit just using that.
He was. And I fucking love what he said.
And by classy shit, I mean like he got that fucking swing in without even going after her.
He was debonair petty.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
It was great.
Yeah. No, she's not an asshole. Like I feel like that she should like buck up a little bit more and be like,
mom
you know
was
what?
is a straight up asshole.
She her mom's a cunt.
Yeah.
That's full cunt mode.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
better than I would have handled it in that situation.
I don't know if I've told you this before. You know, my mother-in-law one time, God damn it, I may get in trouble for this.
Your wife doesn't listen to this shit.
And sometimes she does.
Okay.
You know, one time you know what? Let's change it. Let's not tell that story. I have a friend. I have a friend whose mother-in-law once reached out to his wife, her daughter, and said, I have proof your husband's having an affair. I have photos and everything.
Was it a picture of us?
In a folder. I don't think you know this guy.
Yeah.
But if I had that and could prove, would you leave him? And my friend's wife said, yeah, show me. Sure. Show me. And evidence was never presented, which because it wasn't true, but obviously it's interesting. That's a crazy thing.
Yeah. That's a straight up fucking, that's weird as shit.
It's damn near psychopathic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know, it's funny. Like Amanda and her mom, their relationship as she's been an adult has been pretty volatile, and it's been really good over the last year or so. But her mom's got some other shit that's dealing with, and mostly she's loved me. But there's been a couple things here and there, and she had this one deal that you fucking slob.
No, I knew that was gonna happen.
but sent me like a pretty fucked up message.
Sure.
And like weirdly enough, shit doesn't usually get to me, but this one got to me a little bit. I didn't reply. I talked to me a little bit, but then it was fine after that. But that's the closest I've had. But it was kind of fucked, But again, her mom wasn't doing well at that point in time. But
well, I can tell you
let it go.
What both broke the ground as far as like really put something between me and my mother-in-law, but also kind of sort of bridge the gap where she never really tried to step to me anymore is we left
to flex, as they say nowadays.
Right. We left their house one time. We needed to get somewhere. We had to hurry and get back to town, and they're in Huntsville. We were in Pulaski. and my father-in-law had left and was gone or whatever. And so, you know, we just ended up leaving him. And so we left. My mother-in-law called and was like, hey, you need to come back.
Right.
You need to come back so the kids can tell your dad bye. And we're, you know, 15 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, no, not doing that. Like,
Right.
we'll see him, you know, we'll see him within the next 2 weeks. We saw them like every week to every other
Right.
week. Anyway. And she continued to just like berate my wife or whatever about it. And I finally took the phone from my wife and I said, we're not coming back tonight. This is the end of it. You're only mad because you have lost control of her and you can't control her anymore.
Right.
And that's just the end of it.
Right.
And she started going off on me, and it was a little flip phone, cell phone. It was like a little Motorola, whatever. And I just went and just closed it and handed it back to my wife. And that was like, she lost her mind on it. And we didn't go do Christmas there. We took the kids and dropped them off for Christmas, and we went to a Chinese restaurant.
Good for you though.
Yeah.
I mean occasionally you have to do that shit. You know what I mean? It's because I look at that shit as standing up to a bully, right? Not a bully that's bigger than you, but someone that's trying to throw their status or whatever the fuck it is around to whatever. And sometimes you can do it without being a cunt, but you can fucking be like, nah, not playing this game.
I mean, but I'm very proud of my wife because she's in you know, for years now, she's slowly been able to figure out where those boundaries are that she needs to set or whatever. And she just doesn't take the shit off of anyone in her family. I'm not to just call out her mom. Her mom's, I mean, we're having dinner with her mom next weekend. Like I don't hate her mom or anything like that.
But that's one thing though. I've always had respect for somebody that can just be like, nah, because that's always been my thing. Like, you just face it head on, and then like, here's where we are. It's your problem from here, but I'm letting you know, whatever. Yeah. And it takes some fucking, because it's still a type of bullying, right? It's just they want some control, and I don't know. But one thing I will give myself, I'm going to pat myself on the back for a second. And as fucked up and rage filled as I am, and I'm sure you're the same way, like, I'm pretty good at de-escalation at the most part. As far as if I don't want to go in swinging, I can usually calm the situation down.
It depends on the situation for me. Yeah. Like, there's a situation earlier today that one of us needed to handle. And you handled it in a way that I would not have handled it.
I know.
Not today, I wouldn't have.
Right.
Another day, maybe I would have, but today I wouldn't have.
Right.
I don't know why, but it just hit me the wrong way. And that's why I just went, I'll defer.
Right. And that's why I messaged you and was like, I got this one.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I sent it to you, because if you weren't going to handle it, then I was going to handle it.
Which I wanted to say, I was actually going to say this at the beginning of the show. Not that anybody's going to hear this or listen, but being as being as vague as possible. And I wanted to have a verb one. I don't believe in apologizing for jokes and shit like that. But in case it's out there and this particular person listens, I wanted to back up what we said via a message thread and say, for any personal issues that may have been caused due to our actions, I do sincerely offer an apology, because as much as assholes we are, we try not to fuck up people's personal lives.
Sure.
Right. Regardless of reasons. And we have our own stances on this. I get that. And without going into that, but like, I wanted to give a actual verbal to one person, not to people listening, to the specific person that was affected. I still offer verbally my apologies for that.
Yeah, we're sorry, Evan. So,
but no, I wanted to say that verbally, and I meant to do it at the beginning, because I don't know. Again, nobody listens half the time, but I wanted to say that, because and I sincerely mean it. It's not just a lip service to that point. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. All right. There you go.
Okay. There we go. Moving on.
So, you want to hit the news music? I got two things to go over real quick. That was it. No, that was it.
That's it. That's news.
Yeah.
The first one was not.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying the green one.
Fuck off. Because anyway, I'm ready to be done with this episode.
I understand that. So let's keep this less than 15 minutes.
I want to get in my vroom and go home.
Yeah, I know. So Elon Musk, and the only reason I want to talk this because we both love Elon Musk for the most part.
I love him because he plays God.
He does. So Elon Musk bought up a shitload of Twitter stock the other day to become like maybe the majority shareholder.
He's the majority shareholder.
Yes. Yep. And then a couple of days, so people at Twitter lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
And so now he's made an offer to buy it for like $43 billion to buy
straight up overall. Yep.
Right. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't know if you've seen this article or not, or this news story or whatever, but the Twitter board, obviously not him, adopted what is known in business as the poison pill strategy. After he made it is 43 billion,
because he also refused to join the board of directors.
I don't know that he refused. I think he
chose not to
because I think it was because it was an issue
maybe
with them. But anyway,
he chose not to. Yeah.
So the board voted, and so Twitter adopted a limited duration shareholder rights plan, which is known as a poison pill plan, a day after Elon offered to buy the company for $43 billion. The board voted unanimously to adopt the plan. And under the new structure, if any person or group acquires beneficial ownership of at least 15% of Twitter's outstanding common stock, which is what Elon bought, without the board, if they acquire that without the board's approval, other shareholders will be allowed to purchase additional shares at a discount.
Yeah.
Such a move is a common way to fend off potential hostile takeover by diluting the stake of the entire of the entity eyeing the takeover.
Yep.
The rights plan will reduce the likelihood that any entity, person, or group gains control of Twitter through open market accumulation without paying all shareholders an appropriate control premium, or without providing the board sufficient time to make informed judgments and take actions that are in the best interest of the stakeholders. So that was a release from the company. So I wonder what you thought about all that.
So my understanding, and I could be wrong, because if I remember correctly, Twitter is still technically a private company, and
it's publicly traded.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Okay. Well, then I take that back, because my understanding was Elon wanted to buy it to take it public and make a fuck ton of money.
I'll double check real quick while you're talking, but I'm pretty sure it's publicly
like that was
traded.
my understanding, and that's why they turned it down, because they wanted to keep it as a private company. But either way, like my favorite thing about Elon Musk, like it's not so much that I give a shit about Tesla or anything like that, is because he has so much money. He plays God. Like with Doge, like he skyrocketed that shit.
He's exactly.
And I think that was the thing with Twitter. Like he bought a bunch of shares.
They did something he didn't like.
But after they turned him down buying the company, their stocks fucking plummeted.
So they are publicly traded, and their stock is $46.66 a share. That is over the last. It's up over the last week, over the last month, over the last 3 months. But over the last year, they're down $23, almost $24 a share.
Yeah.
So
okay, well then I misunderstood that. But either way, I find it funny that they're like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's anytime anyone does anything like this, I'm just like, I laugh about it. I think this because what would you do if you had fuck me money? Yeah, which is there's a difference, because people have fuck you money. Like Elon Musk has fuck me money. Like I can fuck myself over, and I'm fine. It doesn't matter. And he's willing to do it. Yeah, and that's what's great.
To me, it was just such a random thing. I was like, why just buy that much of Twitter? Just because he can.
That's it.
But I said I think he likes playing God and manipulating shit. Like I really do.
Well, what was he done? He did recently where somebody said something about him. He could donate X amount of money and help solve something, and he just threw it out there. He's like, fine. Give me your plan of how this amount of money for me donating, how this would solve it. If you can give me a legitimate plan, I'll do it.
Yep.
And at first, I think those people were like, "Oh shit," and so, but then they submitted a plan. He's like, "Okay, fine, done," and he did it.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So I don't know. He is like an evil genius and a godsend to this country.
No, I just think it's funny because, like you said, he was just like, I feel like with the Twitter thing, there wasn't a lot of strategy. I feel like he woke up and was like, "You're gonna be fucking sweet if I was like the majority shareholder of Twitter."
Yeah,
I just bought the shit, because he's gotten a lot of shit for the stuff he said on Twitter and how he tweets and all that stuff. And so, like in my mind, probably the actual motivation is like, dude, if I buy Twitter, I can do what the fuck I want with Twitter.
He is, and he doesn't have to build a new platform like Trump had to.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah. Imagine just doing that though. Imagine just going, I'd like to buy Facebook.
Right. I'm going to buy the majority share.
Right.
Yeah.
But just throwing out a number.
Yeah.
And going, because somebody that number had to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And just saying, all right, I'll buy 43 billion.
Right. Well, the crazy thing to me though is because he obviously intentionally bought the majority share for and it's not like a heavily majority, but it's the majority share of of Twitter.
I'll sell this podcast to him for $43.
Right. No, but I thought that was funny as shit. It was just like he woke up, was like, it's almost like he looked at us like, what would be the majority share to own this or to be able to run it? So he buys it and is like, I'm not going to be on the board. It's fine. I just want to know that I own it.
Right. Just know that I own more.
Like one of the
rest
largest
of
social media fucking companies in the world. I own most of it.
And you
not
guys
most
have
of
to
it, but-
institute a poison pill policy to keep me from taking your company.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and
it's so
but
fucking
like
funny.
he bought that much and is like, yeah, you know what? I'll buy the whole company. And they're like, nah.
But I can think of one person that got the best of him.
Mhm.
And it was this young person who was tracking his plane.
Oh yeah, that
Do
was
you remember
fantastic.
that? And he offered them $5,000 to stop tracking his plane. They're like, no. I'll take 50,000 though.
Yeah.
To stop doing it. And I don't know if he paid them that
Yeah.
or not or what, but the person then just was like, wait a minute, I've kind of got an excellent marketing strategy. And he just started tracking all of these super rich people's
Right.
planes.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that any random person can just start tracking a person's plane
Right.
is insane to me.
But I feel like though, I don't feel like I wouldn't in my mind say gotten the best of him. I feel like that Elon Musk is the kind of dude that's like, all right, props, kid. You know,
sure, but he's still like his choice is either pay or let your plane get tracked.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying you got the best of it.
Okay,
you know?
I'll give you that.
But anyway, yeah, I love Elon Musk so much.
I love, and again, not because of his business acumen or what he does.
Well, that
for
just
the
adds
world.
to it to
Yeah,
me.
but again, it's not Tesla. It's not what he quote unquote does. It's just I like somebody that just doesn't give a fuck, and he has enough money to be like, I don't care.
Well, even with Tesla, I mean, it's the best-selling electric car out there,
Right.
and he just threw his blueprints out there for the
It's an
world
open
and said, do better. I don't care. Do better.
Yep.
And there's still the best-selling electric car out
Yep.
there, which you could
But
maybe you
have
could
you
say
ever read
karma,
through
but
any
whatever.
of the threads on his tweets?
Sometimes, yes.
People are always like, why don't you make an affordable car that we can all buy, an affordable electric car? Like if you really cared about the environment, because you know why? He fucking doesn't.
Right.
And he
That's-
doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
It's like, you don't want to pay for
No.
gas? Be rich enough to buy a car where you don't have to pay for gas anymore.
Yeah.
It's
that's
like,
true.
well, that to me though, it's a perfect reflection when I always read it of people that feel like that they're owed something. Like I
Sure.
should be able to buy a Tesla. I make $40,000 a year, but I should be able to get one too. Why? Why should you be able to get one?
Right.
And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be beneficial or whatever, but I'm like,
Sure.
give a valid reason other than the fact of I just should, that you should get one over somebody.
Yeah.
And the thing is people have this viewpoint of wealth that it's either you're just this rich 1% or you're poor, and it's us versus them. There's no factor that given to, there's people in between. There's people that have worked for that money, and there's people that haven't. And there's this automatic assumption that you should deserve, if you have money, that you should be able to, you should share that. I'm like, why?
Yeah. I had
Why?
that conversation about Amazon yesterday.
Yep.
And yeah.
And
I'm a capitalist though.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
for
see,
sure.
I've had a thing too, like, and Amanda and I were talking about this the other day, and she's much more altruistic and giving and
Sure.
caring than I am. 100%.
I would give money away nonstop if I was as rich
Right.
as Elon Musk.
But we were talking about that, and we were saying, it's funny how your attitude changes as you start moving up the social class,
Mhm.
right? From a family point, because like I have no issues giving to a charity or helping somebody that needs help.
Sure.
For me, I have to think they need help. Like if you're just being a piece of shit, I don't give a fuck about you.
Sure.
But if I see that you're trying to work for it, and I'll give money to homeless people, but it's a gut thing for me. Like, oh, I feel like they, not that my gut's end all be all, but that's what I go with, right? Like I don't throw money at every homeless person asking
Sure.
for money, but occasionally I do. Anyway, but it's funny that you have more money. Then you start thinking, okay, I have this house that I've worked for. Like I'm just at the point, and I've worked my dick off at various jobs to
Sure.
advance to what I have. And then there's like some shitty neighbor that's bringing everybody's property value down. And I'm like, fuck that guy. I'm going to move him out. You know what I mean? Or they're make this less, and it's protecting my assets
Sure.
that I've earned. And like, I get gentrifications. Like, and the thing is people get idealistic. I hate the thought of an 80-year-old person that's lived in a neighborhood for the majority, like 50 years, and they're getting pushed out because of property taxes. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Sure.
But pieces of shit that are dealing drugs and bringing down, or whatever the case may be, and bringing down the neighborhood, yeah, get them the fuck out. I don't give a shit about those motherfuckers, but you can't do both.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I'm all about greater good.
I'm about the greater good as well. My son, who bought a house a year and a half-ish ago, used to, be very much against gentrification and things like that. But he's like, come on, gentrification. It's going to up the value of my house.
It changes a lot.
And, the property assessments went up recently in Knox County anyway. And he got his the other day, and he's like, yeah, my mortgage payment just went up like $100 for which in conversation was like, I don't think it should have went up quite that much.
Right.
But regardless, we had a kind of conversation at dinner the other night about how you don't really own that house. You understand that, right? Even if you hit the lottery today and paid it off,
right,
you could still lose that house. Just don't pay your property tax. He
one time.
Yeah. He said, why do I have to pay tax on this even if it's paid off? And I said, that's a question I ask. You paid tax on it when you bought it.
Yep. And you pay taxes on it every year.
If you sell it, you're going to pay some tax on it, and the person buying it's going to pay some tax on it, but you still have to pay tax every year. It's because you're paying for the right to live right there. And he said, well, then what do I get from owning a house? I said, you can paint it whatever color you want. Right. You can own a gun.
Or you get the difference in money and taxes if you sell it.
Sure. That's it. Yeah. I mean,
but it
is an asset rather than a debt. I mean, it's a debt, but it is an asset, but
it is funny though, when you get money, like now that I've bought a house, which I haven't bought a house. It was the first time I bought a house, and it's just been like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like for the first time now, like I have a liquid asset. If I sell that, I have money. And it's funny that after you make a certain level of money, it's easier to make more money.
Sure.
As long as you're not a dumbass with the cash that you have. And that's so funny to me. And there's a part of me that feels like in certain instances, what's the best way to put this? Like I don't like the fact that depending on the social situation or area that you're in, you can be a hardworking motherfucker and not get out of it.
Yeah.
Just because of circumstances and things like that.
Sure.
So I do feel like there would be benefits to having some programs that reward people that bust their dick to better their lives.
Yeah.
Right. But it shouldn't be given.
I agree.
And then, like I said, and then it's funny because you get to the point, and this is what Amanda was saying again. She's so altruistic. She said, I never thought that I would be concerned about like property value and safety in the neighborhood and this and this and that. She goes, but I really am. She was like, I'd have no problem with X, Y, and Z because because at the end of the day, you know what my priority is, and your priority is taking care of us and our families.
That's it.
And the more money that I have, and I'm not even still concerned about. Yeah, I'd love to be rich, but only because of the freedom to do what I want offers. Anyway.
Well, my son's closing statement in our talk was, man, Joseph Biden got me fucked up. All right. Next week, as of right now, we do not have a guest lined up. I'm working on something, but I just don't know if it's going to happen or not. Yeah, we don't have a guest lined up, but 2 weeks from now, we also next week our live show is actually gonna be on Thursday night.
Yes,
because you're gonna be out of town on the weekend. So Thursday night around 7-ish or something, whatever. We'll put it out there. But the week after that, on the weekend, we're gonna actually have the Dumbass Dudes back on, all three of them this time.
For my last show.
For your last show for the foreseeable future, anyway. And then maybe you and Benny can
we'll hash a little bit.
Can hash it out a little bit, and we'll see.
But in the meantime, happy Easter, and may white Jesus absolve you of all the sins you've committed throughout the year.
Yeah.
I messaged a buddy of mine who's is Jewish, and he's like not religiously like Orthodox Jewish, but he's one of the smartest motherfuckers I know. But he's heritage Jewish and was practicing for a while. And I messaged him. I was like, on this sacred weekend, just remember that white Jesus died for his sins to save you from being Jewish. And he was like, I'm going to need a source for that. I said, my bad. Every Southern Baptist preacher ever.
Yeah, for sure. All right. That's it. Until next week. Goodbye. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch at B3F Podcast. And on Instagram at B3F_podcast. YouTube has all of our videos. Support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee at B3F Podcast. Send all your questions or comments to admin at B3FPodcast.com. Find us online at B3FPodcast.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen. And as always, thanks for listening.